Well, hello and welcome to PM Express. Curbing road accident, road carnage, road murder, call it whatever it is, and it will absolutely be befitting. Sometimes we are indeed an amazing people. You know, life is meaningless and worthless unless the owner of the life is well-to-do, well-connected, a public figure. Otherwise, you know, life can be maimed, lost, injured, or disabled, and we just don't care. Simple things like just staying in lane when there's an obstruction in front. We don't obey, and the laws cannot simply enforce it. It's absolutely a jungle out there. You know, whoever gets there first, it's your goal. Give way to traffic on the left is absolutely alien to us. And the number of people we are killing on a daily basis, maiming on a daily basis, doesn't add up, doesn't make sense at all to any civilized society, particularly one such as ours. However, the president constituted a 3-member board or committee to go and look into this canker. They came back with a report, he looked through it and has directed an immediate action that there should be education, enforcement, and engineering to try and stem this once and for all. But then I ask, is this even a matter that gets to the president? And there's so many people, officers in charge underneath the presidency who should have seen and acted immediately. What at all is it that's so difficult that stops the average policeman to say, listen, just stay in lane, just obey a red light? Okay, fine. We give you that as a big man driving in a siren, and because of our culture, you may not be able to arrest them. But the average guy in a micra, the average guy in a normal saloon, average Joe, can also just flout the law in its face and nothing can be done. We seem to be completely overwhelmed when it comes to road traffic rules. And time and again, we have brought this issue over and over. But now, it's only 3 months down the line and 592 souls have been perished. That, my friend, is close to some sort of road genocide, if you ask me. But I hope that this time this directive will be something that will be put into action and that will work. I am just saying that just the simple things of when there's traffic, just as there's an obstruction on the road, people who just drive on the side of the road cutting everybody up. If we can't enforce that, then how are we going to enforce the bigger ones, the bigger pictures? I don't know. But well, the 3 areas we're looking at is education, enforcement, and engineering. Is it going to be possible this time? My guests are all fired up and they know a thing or two about road safety. You don't want to move at all. My name is Nana Ansakwa, the 4th Chief of the Little Republic of Akwamu Dumasa. When I come back, we are trying to find out how it is that eventually we can curb this canker. Don't go. Okay, so thank you very much for staying. Curbing road accidents with me in the studio. Sat right next to me, my brother, the Chief Nana Ano Ame here, Executive Director, Safety Ghana. Nana, you're welcome.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, dragged Nana here from playing golf all day. That's good. And then another brother from the same community, from my Akwamu brother, Dr. Godfred Achiadakwa, Road Safety and Transport Consultant. Doc, from
RSTC, Road Safety and Transportation Consultants Limited.
Thank you. Thank you. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Last time Doc was here, Doc was nearly a dog, but now he's fully a dog.
Yeah, sure.
Fully a dog. So Doc, let me start with you, and I want to start with the fact, maybe I may be too emotional about it, but the president has given a directive that, you know, they should go ahead and, you know, education, enforcement, and engineering. I'm asking, should this come from the president? Aren't there a lot of, I mean, the IGP, the MTTD boss, the guy, the policeman standing on the road? I mean, aren't these like open infringement? What is the blockage that it needs the president to tell somebody, look, stay in lane, you know, there's an obstruction in front, so, you know, stay in lane. Don't go on the drive on the shoulders, trying to cut everybody up. I mean, does it take the president to say something like that? I don't know. Help me out.
Yeah, I think, good evening, our viewers. In the first place, let me honestly thank the present government, Nana Akufo-Addo, for doing what no one has done before in terms of road safety.
Okay.
This particular release of 6.3 million Ghana cedi to aid road safety in its efforts is quite recommendable. But we would, if we had our own opportunity, I would have pleaded with the government or with the president that when road safety education is huge budget, it needed quite a colossal sum. Although no one has done the 6.5 million ever, but it is so small to meet the challenge or the challenges on the road in terms of education alone. Because there was a time World Bank and others tried a whole 15 million and it helped reduce the accident, but couldn't solve it. And if it's going to be successive, the amount that if I were to be a budget officer for the National Road Safety Commission, we're talking about 30 million for a year. 30 million cedis for a year. If National Road Safety Commission is able to be assigned with 30 million cedis a year for 5 years, bet me we can get to the time where we can record 50 deaths and not the 2002 we've recorded. Trust me.
And 30 million just on education?
On education. On education. Because when you look at the driving populace, you will not even target only the drivers alone. We have the riders, we have the drivers. We have to also target the passengers. We have to also target the pedestrian. And then becomes a complete. And then target the mechanics, the auto mechanics. Even vehicle owners, the commercial vehicle owners, you have to bring all of them into educational forum. And all this one, when you bring them together, you're talking about 30 million Ghana cedi per a year. And that is even my smart estimation. So the 6 million is good. It's a very good start because we have not experienced it before. I would have pleaded that they should have enhanced the money to a good level that we can achieve real results.
Nana, I'm still with you. I mean, what sort of a system do we operate that when cars are hitting people down, the police commissioner, the police couple, is so helpless that it has to go to the presidency before it trickles down again? What sort of a system is this?
Now, Nana, let me start from where my brother left. He's a consultant, and I'm an advocate. So an advocate, I don't care who ox is God. I stay down the middle, and I say it as it is. He talked about 30 million Ghana cedis. Nana, if you were CEO of a company and you're losing 3.4 billion Ghana cedis a year, would you throw a paltry sum of 6.5 million cedis at it to close the gap?
3.4 billion is what road accidents?
No, 3.4. You see, this is not figures that I'm just churning out. It's an established figure from the World Health Organization, WHO, who says that the road crashes we have annually cost us 1.7% of GDP. And our GDP has grown up to 200 billion Ghana cedis a year. Nana, you are the mathematicians. Work out 1.7% of 200 billion a year. What does it give you? I only know about board mass. I didn't do mathematics up to whatever. But it tells me we're looking at around 3.4 billion Ghana cedis a year. So if you're a CEO of a company and you're losing 3.4 billion a year and losing human resource, that the era of going beyond aid, which is a mantra that I subscribe to, it means that we are going to use human resource like what the Koreans have used to get to where they are. Now, Nana Akufo-Addo is saying that let's look at the Koreans and the Singaporeans and use our human resource to get to where they have gotten to, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this human resource that with the cocoa farmer over the years have worked their socks off to educate and train this human resource that we're supposed to take us to the paradise. Mm-hmm. We are dissipating them on the roads. So if I have a government who comes out there to say that, now forget about the Goggisberg economy, where we're using, exporting raw materials, and somebody sitting out there in the UK and whatever tell you that your cocoa bean, this year I'll buy it at £1 per pound weight, then that's what we subsist on. He's now telling us that let's use our human resource. That's why we have the free SHS, because we want to train our human resource. But Nana, I'm winding around, but I'm trying to make a point that this same human resource, we are dissipating them on the roads. And somebody wants to find a solution to the carnage on the road and says that you have set up a committee, and the committee didn't even look at how much money it costs the economy by these road crashes, and comes out and say, oh, okay, let's throw 6.5 million Ghana cedis at the problem. Let's give Ghana Highways Authority 335 million Ghana cedis to do road markings and what have you. Are we really serious in this country? For me, I'm sorry to say that my brother here talked about is a step in the right direction, but I beg to differ.
No, but his position was that we haven't gotten some before.
You have got something before. Let me tell you, 2016-2017 budget that was left by the previous government that exited, and I'm not apologist for the previous government. Mm-hmm. Let me make that point. Was 6 million Ghana cedis for National Road Safety Commission to engage in what the directive have now come that we have been given 6.5 million, so we should sing hallelujah that this is something that is unprecedented. And I say it's not unprecedented because the National Road Safety Commission budget for 2016-2017 was 6 million Ghana cedis. Now, this incoming government...
Did they get it?
No. This incoming government, whether they got it or whatever, incoming government cut the budget of 6 million Ghana cedis to 3 million Ghana cedis. And we have gone past the first quarter. Go call the National Road Safety Commission, my good friend, lawyer Tuahine, and ask them if that 3 million Ghana cedis has been disbursed. And let me go further to make the point that when the high-profile road crash that we had that took away the celebrity of blessed memory, may she rest in perfect peace, Ebony. Mm-hmm. The regional office in Kumasi, whose jurisdiction the incident happened, to go and visit the site to make a report, they could not find petrol. They could not put petrol in the pickup to go out there to go and make a report. So what are we talking about?
Sad.
Very, very sad. And I'm not a very happy person to come out here on national radio to say that that is how Ghana has been reduced to.
Let me quickly update for those of you who are wondering why this issue is there. And this is in the Finder. 592 perished in 3 months. Just quickly, run through the story so you get a gist of it. A total of 592 commuters perished, while 3,343 were injured in road traffic crashes in the first quarter of 2018. The dead are made of 439 males and 153 females. 11.7 increase in death. The number of people killed represents 11.7 increase over the 530 commuters who died the same period in 2017. 11.32% increase in injured persons. Similarly, 3,343 people were injured, representing 11.32% increase over the 3,003 injured people in the first quarter of 2017. Data compiled by the Motor Traffic Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service showed that the total number of motor vehicles involved in accidents jumped from 4,498 in 2017 first quarter to 5,348 in the first quarter of this year. This represents an 18.87% increase over the previous year's figures. 198 pedestrians killed out of the 792 pedestrians knocked down. 198 were killed, with 584 injured during the period. 11.51% reduction in pedestrians killed. This is a reduction of 11.51% compared to 229 pedestrians killed from 895 knocked down during the first quarter of last year. 13.31 rise in motorcycle accidents. The number of motorcycles involved in road traffic crashes increased from 829 in the first quarter of 2017 to 956 during the same period in 2018, representing a 13.31% rise. The total number of private vehicles involved in the accident jumped to 2,214 in 2018 first quarter, from 1,846 recorded in the first 3 months of 2017. Lastly, the total number of commercial vehicles also increased from 1,823 in the first quarter of last year to 2,175 in the same period in 2017. I mean, these numbers are staggering.
Very, very.
I mean, so at which point were we going to wake up and say, no, this is, more than cancer or HIV or malaria? Yes.
After depression and cardiovascular diseases, road accident comes third. And it's going to continue. You rightly asked the question, why should it get to that height? This is informing me that now the president is watching critically. He's hearing too many of these road carnage. The FGTD, the National Road Safety Commission, the DVLA, and all of us have tried their best.
So then who supervises? Because, I mean, the president is overwhelmed. I mean, today, if a chief died, we have to go and see the president. Tomorrow, if Udikru dies, we have to go and see the president. So he has so much on his hands. And rightfully, the Constitution is giving him power to nominate people, Minister for Transport, you have the IGP, you have the MTDD boss, you have the superintendent, everybody down the chain. So he's given his directive, all well and good. Now what? He has to come and stand on the motorway and now investigate or supervise?
No, I think all the organizations that you've mentioned, there was a critical need for a particular thing that can help them put them in action. And that's what the president has realized and is doing it. I was happy to hear last year they had a budget of 6.5. And
no, 6 million, not 6.5.
6 million.
Yeah.
And even we believe not all the 6 million.
It was cut into 50%.
50%, so about 3 million was gone. But now he's releasing 6.5.
The 3 million was not disbursed.
That
It has not been
50%.
we are the 50% that was cut to has not been disbursed
Okay.
as we speak. I don't know.
Okay.
I stand corrected.
Okay.
But you can call the road safety and they will confirm.
Okay.
Because we work closely with the National Road Safety Commission.
Okay.
It has not been disbursed.
Okay.
And then now we are talking about, you see, you are speaking nicely, talking nice things about the president. But I'm sure probably the president is not properly briefed. Look, the road fund that the president is promising this 6.5 million cedis that is going to be coming from, if I'm right, the release, this 6.5 million is going to come from the road fund. I stand corrected again, the road minister, roads and highways minister,
has already used it.
saying that, no, not already saying that, the road fund has been mortgaged by the previous exiting John Mahama's government.
Yeah, against a loan.
To a loan of UBA, 7.5 billion. Hence, they are not even giving out new contracts. So, if there's a lien on the road fund of 7.5 billion, and the president is saying that he's ordered 6.5 million Ghana cedis, before any money that comes, as far as my knowledge goes, if there's a lien on a fund, the moment, and we're talking about a huge sum, 7.5 million, and please, as I said, I stand corrected. If there's a lien of 7.5 billion on the road fund that has been mortgaged to UBA, well, and the president is saying that we should go, the National Road Safety Commission should go to the GET fund for 6.5 million to do the sensitization. Isn't it something that doesn't meet the eye?
Let's go straight to National Road Safety Commission and speak to Kwame Godia Etuahene, who's the communications director there, and I'm sure he can answer some of these questions. Kwame, you're welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Nana. Good evening to Donald.
Good evening, my brother. This is a matter of life and death. And in all civilized countries, this is basically breakpoint where everything stops and we try and save lives. Kwame, let me just start with you. Has the road fund already been mortgaged by the previous government? I mean, are you aware of that?
No, I don't have. We don't have that information. What I know is that they are going through some restructuring of the sort, but the details are not pretty much known to.
It's not hedged against any loan, because I'm sure I've seen something like that in the news.
The road fund.
Yes, hedged against any loan.
I'm not aware.
You're not aware.
Yeah, no, you're not aware. But I mean, essentially, they provide us with funding for our activity.
How stranded are you cash-wise, the Road Safety Commission?
Well, the road fund is our major source of funding.
Yeah.
By law, the law that sets the commission up identifies the road fund as a source of funding for activities. They're pretty much consistent with the best practice globally. Where you have these funds, because of the contribution of these funds, where they come from, and users, it creates opportunity for lead agencies for road safety to be funded by these funds. This year, it's the third month, but we haven't as yet received release from both funds. But I need to add that it is not out of the ordinary. Oftentimes, beginning of the year, if you look back, you present a budget, you have to defend it, and once it is approved, they begin to provide the releases.
Kwame, my next question is, why have 592 lives perished in 3 months?
Well, a very difficult one to say. But you would notice that this year, I think we have had very unpleasant experiences to do with high occupancy vehicles that provide public transportation. The 38-seater bus on the Kumasi-Accra Highway, recently they have given quite a source of worry. Indeed, if you look at the trend of incidents, the common issues of intensity, often from the preliminary reports from these that involve these high occupancy vehicles, is often questions of speed, wrongful overtaking, driving tired, which are matters that naturally one would expect that transport companies that are into this business of providing service of a public nature would have controls that would deal with these risk factors. Unfortunately, the expectation has not been met, and we are at this situation. It's a wake-up call, and we tend to seize the opportunity to try to engage these operators, try to impress upon them to do what is necessary for public good.
Well, Kwame, let me bring your mind up to something. And this one, I just found this on City Online. It says the Deputy Minister of Roads and Transport, Anthony Kabo, has revealed that the previous administration secured over 1.5 billion loan from UBA to pay road contractors. According to Mr. Kabo, the previous administration's decision to secure this loan has led to the release of the road funds being hijacked by UBA. So you should know about that.
Well, honestly speaking, I'm picking this for the first time. Our relationship we have with the road fund is for them to support our activity. I'm saying that this year we haven't as yet received any release from them. Normally, over the years, when there's regime change and new boards are constituted, it takes time for them to settle and begin to do what is needful. I imagine until this, which has just come to my attention, I imagine that the delays in the release are consistent with the experiences of new board taking office and getting to approve statutory payments. I am unaware that the delays, as far as releases was are concerned, are because of any constraints they have with one bank or the other.
Well, I mean, if you look at the consequences of this delay, and 3,343 were injured in road traffic accidents, it doesn't speak well for the National Road Safety Commission at all.
Yes, it is not pleasant, as I indicated.
But we don't see you writing, and expressing your frustrations and your anger over delayed, release of money or delayed change of the, National Road Safety couple. We don't see you to say, look, we are frustrated because we are handicapped, we can't do our work, lives are being lost. We don't feel that frustration.
Yes, and no, yes, because we haven't been very open with it. But no, to the extent that we work very closely with the Ministry of Transport, which is our supervisory ministry, and we do check with them. It's one of the issues that the board have had to engage them on a number of occasions this year. So even though we haven't had this conversation in the open in the public, the ministry that supervises what we do is very much known, and I want to believe that the minister may have engaged his police minister at the Ministry of Roads and Highways over this challenge.
Kwame, before I let you go, I mean, what is going to be different this time? Because these, even though these figures are going up, but these are our usual figures. By December, we would have slaughtered 2,000. That's guaranteed. Well, so what will be different this time?
I think that we need the support of the totality and generality of the people of Ghana. I mean, we have a public duty to promote food safety standards. We use the road as well. We are exposed to the same risk as several other road users. We want to appeal that it is a collective responsibility. Two things. We have said that the gap within the road safety environment, given what is happening and the interest that the president have expressed, there are some laws that are before cabinet. To our mind, if they become law, bills, if they become law, it will engineer a certain measure of urgency within the environment. Until that is done, the road transport environment doesn't appear to be regulated, even though the ministry is taking steps to deal with that gap.
Kwame, let me come in here. Before the new laws are put in place, I mean, we have a really fine, well-detailed road safety law in this country. I mean, how many more laws do we need to make the roads safe? I mean, some of the basic ones, and I keep saying, just if there's an obstruction ahead, we should all, stay in the queue. If there's a contra flow, we should stay in the queue rather than drive on the shoulders. I mean, what other laws do we need to keep the roads safe?
Yes, I agree that from that perspective, there are some laws. There's a high level of indiscipline among ordinary users on our roads. But within the institutional space, these transport operators, service providers, what is it that we can do to get them instill certain controls among their drivers in their operations? Those gaps are what I speak of. But yes, the offense regime, the Road Traffic Act has quite a number of regulations. If they are enforced, we could be able to have an improvement. But the reality is this: today we speak of a police service that has a ratio of 1 policeman to about 730 citizens. You have a vehicular population that is in excess of 2 million. You have a commission with a staff strength which is barely about 100. There's a difficulty in being at every position at one point or the other. So we are talking about opportunities to use systems. So the police is talking about port fine enforcement. They want to introduce speed cameras to be able to make for the numbers that they don't have. On our hand, even though some of the laws exist, what is it that we can do to ensure that DPRT or Portua will introduce systems that will get their drivers abide by these regulations so that we don't suffer the consequences of inadequate policemen on the road? Those are the kinds of gaps that we want to have addressed. Very quickly, I may give you an example. What happens on the road?
Yeah, briefly, because I need to go.
Yes, it's pretty much like what happens in the airspace. The pilot and the aircraft, before they get to the tarmac, it is somebody else's responsibility to ensure that the pilot is safe, that the aircraft is in good condition. We don't appear to have a semblance of those practices in the road environment, and that is what we are focusing on.
Kwame, thank you very much for that. Hopefully I can get you in so that we can have a proper discussion. I'll take a quick break here, and then when I come, I'll find out from my studio guest if we need more laws to make our roads safer. Well, thank you very much for staying. Let me go straight to Dr. Godfrey Achiadakwan. Doc, do you think we need more laws to make the road safe other than what we have now?
No, I bet you I differ. The laws are okay. They can do the trick. It depends upon how we would manage the laws to solve the problem for us. We have all the laws. we have other. Look at the new one, the LI 2180. We have so many things in it such that it can help deal with the road safety problems that we have. But let me see. Let me say this one. There's a critical component in the Road Safety Act. I've forgotten a particular section that speaks of for any driver who is going to renew his license, it should go through some form of training to attain certificate of competence before the license will be renewed. If that provision alone is satisfied, I'm telling you, most of the problems will be solved on the condition.
That's the commercial drivers.
Yes, the commercial drivers.
But
So now, you see, the private drivers are taking over in terms of the accident. Look, when you read the papers, the statistics, the number of private drivers, self-drive, private drivers causing this carnage are now outweighing the commercial drivers. Do you know why? People are now engaging the commercial drivers into training. But now, the companies are failing to train. Companies don't want to train. They put driver training at the bottom of the budget, so that after all the top one have been met, before they look at that. And when we come to the private people who engage in services of ordinary driver that we pick from the streets, we don't think about training at all. Again, even if we pick them and the drivers try to talk about training, we want to even sack them. Go to the parliament. A lot of parliamentarians have drivers that are not trained. And look at even the type of payment they meted on them. Very meager salaries that they pay to them, exerting pressure on them. So the thing should be done holistically. That's what I'm saying. If they want to use 6.5 U for National Road Safety Commission for training.
No, not for training, for education.
For education and training. For education and training, then the 6.5 is so small an amount to meet that challenge. But the laws that we have, brother, they are okay.
You also think the laws are okay, or you think?
Yeah, the laws, we have good laws and all that, but just enforcement is where we have a challenge. But let me, you see, I don't think you come and talk, criticize, and don't proffer any solution. I've gone beyond that. I believe about 4 or 5 years ago, I was talking about road safety sensitization. And the media, you know, the media in the NCA, the licensing regime, has it somewhere in there that there should be a component, a content that is in there that would take care of local, the community that you serve. I can't hit the right terminology. There's a local content that's supposed to be
like a corporate social responsibility.
So but there's something there for whatever community that you're serving. Now, I've always said that. You see, the 6.5 million Ghana cedis, it pales into insignificance. But if you think outside the box, you can come up with this thing that I came up about 3 or 4 years ago. That the National NCA, the National Communication Agency, is it? Agency or National Communication NCA?
NCA, yeah.
Yes. They should make it mandatory that when they are renewing the licenses of the media, the media houses, they should sit down with them and say, look, we have a challenge here. And what I know is that desperate situation demands drastic measures. Okay? We are now in desperate situation and up to our wits' end with death carnage on our roads. So if the president wants to find a solution, the solution that I'm proffering is that the money that is voting, 6.5 million, is not enough. But what he can go into arrangement with the media houses, because to all intents and purposes, road crash is not only for the ordinary person, Tom, Dick, and Harry, but the media themselves. You have suffered high-profile deaths on the roads yourself, haven't you? So if the NCA sits down with the media houses and say, look, let's create this situation where we can sensitize the general public on road safety. 5:30 in the morning, when I wake up early and tune in to all the radio stations, Nana, what I hear is all about preaching. And the preaching, we preach to all intents and purposes to the God the merciful. And yet, people are dying on our roads.
In terms of fundraising, here it says police convict 1,197 drivers in the first quarter. Fines imposed are 627,600. So averagely every driver is paying about 550 per, these fines. I mean, with all these road infractions, I mean, that could be a source of...
No, I'm not looking at that. What I'm saying is that we could create a situation...
Deterrent
you're talking
and
about,
fundraising at the
you're
same
talking about
time.
the 3 E's: education, enforcement, and engineering. And education, we need a lot of money. As my brother said here, that the 6.5 million will not do it. But you can go into some sort of arrangement with the media houses that also have an interest to say that let's create something that I call it rush hour. The rush hour between where Ghana is moving on the road, commuters are going to work between 5:30 and 6:30. Let's create that rush hour.
So that there'll be all... Let me take a couple of messages on here.
No, let me finish this important point.
Yeah, land for me.
Yes, so that simultaneously, all stations that you tune in will be talking about road safety, so that people will drum into the ears of the drivers, the commuters, the passengers, and everybody to be aware of the carnage on our roads.
Doc, you're nodding. You agree?
Yeah, I think that will do. There are a lot of preachings are done. Take 5:30 to 6 o'clock every day. All networks devoting it to road safety. Taking topic by topic. Within 3 months, we have gone far, and that is the problem. I'll buy into that. But that would not be exhaustive. Having these ones on the radios, on TVs, the campaigns, the billboards, it is the secondary aspect of road safety education. The real road safety education is taking the people to go through proper training in the classroom setting with videos and audios, modeling, trying to let the people know why we say that overspeeding kills, for them to understand the nitty-gritty of it. And then, they are done, you follow it up with this one. We are done.
My brother, you are talking about training in the classroom. I don't believe in training in the classroom. I believe in hands-on training. Now, you see the new road that has been created through Fiesta Royal to Hacho. You know, they reported that the people, the deviants, Gimpawan, and in the night are doing all manner of things there. And now it has become a dumping refuse dump. I have written to the Legon University that Ghana will lack training, defensive driving training, on track, not in the classroom. The classroom alone will not do it. So we want that track, 50 meters by 2 kilometers to Hacho, so that we put a proper circuit to do defensive driving training there. And that will go a long way to complement the classroom training that my brother is talking about.
So it is not that the classroom training will not do.
No, but
it
will complement
it.
And
if you want the better complement, let's go to mechanical department at Burma Camp. You see real models of defensive driving that they take you through. You dare go.
So let's do this, and believe you me, we'll break the back of the carnage on our roads.
Well, education, enforcement, and engineering is the way to go, and hopefully, I don't know how, but hopefully this is the trigger point that will let us realize. Let me take a couple of messages. Saviola says that the problem is from car owners demanding big sales, hence drivers rushing for passengers. I suggest you use this same money to purchase buses and put it in the system where people can pick at affordable prices like it's done in Côte d'Ivoire, South Africa, Rwanda, and European countries. Okay, Seidu says, what action plan? When a driver is overspeeding, overloading, no passenger will talk. We are here talking of action plan. These are human errors. Ufayata says, yes, it will take a big difference if only JoyNews will support the president, just as you did in the illegal mining fight.
Yeah.
So basically you want a little support from the media, and I guess it's in the right.
We didn't talk about the motorbike that is also overtaking.
The motorbike banners will have to, all too soon, that's what time will allow me, but issue of, okay, let me let you wrap up.
You see, the motorbike, now on the motorway, Tema motorway, we now have tricycles who are not supposed to be on the motorways carrying what they call the Ebola taxis, and creating a whole lot of menace on a motorway and on the N1 and elsewhere. What, for crying out loud, what is the MTTD doing about it? To all intents and purposes, if the MTTD go out there and ask them for their licenses, for their insurance, I bet your Nana, I wouldn't say they would not have insurance. And per the road law, any motorized vehicle must have at least a third-party insurance to be on the road. On the public thoroughfare.
Speed, are they allowed on the motorway?
No.
They are not.
No. Every motorbike with the 125cc
below.
Below 125cc should not use the motorway.
And a tricycle.
And the tricycle they drive at 75
cannot see the side of the vehicle. So when you see them laden on the road, you cannot see the side of the vehicle. And the law says that any motorized vehicle on the road, on the public thoroughfare, must see the side, the back of the vehicle before you can actually be allowed on the road.
Conversation is just started, and hopefully there will be more room to talk about this. Maybe we'll break it up and then look at it section by section: education, look at enforcement, look at engineering. But we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you so much for watching and engaging. You're welcome. Gentlemen, thank you so much.